So you want to know the junglers you can carry with, eh? Well, in this video, you are going to learn just that. Welcome Summoners, I'm Coach Ease, a multi-season challenger player and now coach, and in the next 10 minutes, you will know the 10 best jungle champions you can hard carry a game on. As we all know, the new mythic and legendary items are dictating the landscape of League. What champions are OP, what champions are D tier, so our picks are those champions that synergize off the charts with the new items, and that leads me into the question of the video. Which jungler do you think is the most broken? For me, it has to be KHAZIX. I just hate bugs that much. Now, before we unveil the top 10, do not forget to check out GameLeap.com. There is no better website to learn the ins and outs of Summoner's Rift than our very own. So join thousands of others and get signed up today so you can benefit from the hundreds of challenger courses, guides, and videos we have to offer. Links in the description and comment section. And when I say hard carry junglers, I'm talking about those that can end a game after getting just one kill. This one kill turns into 10, that 10 then turns into 20, and that turns into a big fat W. Tank junglers are no doubt still strong, but you need a little more help from your teammates in getting to that enemy nexus. So in saying that, let's start the countdown. In at number 10 we have Lee Sin, and the Blind Monk got some huge buffs in 1025. Your base armor is higher, your W cooldown is lower, and your E does more damage at each level. So what does this all mean? Well, you'll be healthier while clearing camps, and you'll also clear the camps quicker, and you have more damage and tankiness for early 1v1s, ganks, and invades. So instead of being F tier trash like you were last patch, you are actually playable now. The E change is actually massive because you can clear 5 jungle camps before Scuttlecrat spawns when you take E second. Start at your red buff, clear raptors, wolves, blue, and gromp, and you are 1 camp off level 4. You also have a bit of spare time to look for a gank or set up in the pixel brush for the enemy jungler. In terms of builds, if you are against a team of squishies, build Eclipse is your mythic. Against a mix of everything, take Gore Drinker, and this is your go-to in most games. And if you're against a lot of tanks, take Divine Sunderer. 1025 is looking good for Lee Sin, that's for sure. Before revealing our 9th best solo carry jungler, please remember to let us know you're enjoying the countdown guides by leaving a like down below. Alright, at number 9 we have KINDRED, and the big item changes in 1025 have really put KINDRED back on the map. You are one of the strongest level 2 invaders, and after taking red buff can put pressure on any jungler. You can use your Q to hop over the dragon and baron walls to invade and evade wards in pixel brush, and applying this much pressure early game is very important against the best junglers in the game at the moment who are weaker early on like KAYN and KHAZIX. In this patch, Gale Force got a huge buff. The AD it offers increased, and the cooldown is now only 60 seconds. Now I know Kraken Slayer is the preferred choice for KINDRED, but this gives you another option if you need more self-peel. Zeal also got buffed, an item you buy every game. It now costs 1050 gold instead of 1200, and Rapid Fire Cannon, which is one of your core items, is now only 2500 gold. I'm not finished. Infinity Edge also got changed, I guess you would call it a buff, so that your crits deal more damage at 3 items. So if you were to build Kraken or Gale Force, Rapid Fire Cannon, and then IE, your power spike would be nutty. Remember to play around your marks and you will find many a success on KINDRED this patch. Galloping in at number 8 we have HECARIM. Now this pony has consistently been one of the best junglers this preseason, and nothing changes this patch. You have godly synergy with the new items. Trinity Force is your best choice of mythic, is cheaper than before and makes snowballing easier, and follow this with a Death's Dance and Steric's Gauge. Your sustained damage in fights is out of this world. You become HECARIM the Immortal. The healing from these legendaries and your W is incredibly hard to deal with. If the enemy team doesn't have any grievous wounds, you will be charging through their carries with 0 counterplay. In the early game, make sure to cover yourself by warding against potentially hard matchups like Graves so you don't fall behind. Your aim is to be even on HECARIM by the time you finish your first clear, and your impact after that is inevitable. Shotgunning his way to the 7th spot on this countdown is Graves. As Graves, you are the best invader in the early game. You can 12-bore every melee champion out of their jungle, you have your smoke screen to slow and protect yourself, and your E can be used to kite and stack armor. You have everything you can ask for on an aggressive jungler. With Eclipse and the Collector, you are one of the hardest hitters in the game as well. Camp in a brush, wait for an enemy to walk past and Q, auto, and R, and that enemy is off the map. Graves would be higher on this countdown, but Eclipse and the Collector actually received nerfs, but they aren't significant enough to lose hair over. Trust me, I would know about that process. Eclipse's shield is now weaker for ranged champions, and the Collector's passive only works on champions, so you're still getting everything else from Eclipse and the 5% execute from the Collector on enemy champions. All the enemy squishies will still be easy as to kill, and you can impress your lead as well as any other jungler. Now, we can't have a top 10 carry jungler list without OLAF, and he holds the number 6 spot. As OLAF, you are pretty much HECARIM just on more juice. Your early game is stronger because of your shorter cooldowns and your amazing 1v1 potential, but if the enemy jungler looks to punish you for full clearing, you can chase them down until the world's end. How many of you are sick of going up against Sunfire abusers like a Mumu, Nunu, Rammus, Sejuani? They're annoying, aren't they? Well, OLAF is the solution. Your ultimate Ragnarok is the best anti-CC ability in the game, meaning that anyone who dares to try lock you down better think again. All you have to do is press R and start swinging your axes, and it's GG. In terms of items, build a Gore Drinker every game, followed by a Sterix Gauge. The healing is nuts because it works with your W, and you can solo win fights by baiting every enemy cooldown and ability. When you're close to dying, just use Gore Drinkers active and you're ready for round 2. Death's Dance is also an amazing item because of its 2 passives, so consider buying that after Drinker Engage. And nothing I've mentioned got nerfed, it's still as broken as ever, so take full advantage of it this patch. Punching her way into the top 5 in this prestigious countdown is Vi. The reason Vi is above HECARIM and OLAF, 2 other hard carry bruisers, is because she has lockdown crowd control with her ultimate. As Vi, you are arguably the best snowball jungler in the game with a lead. Walk into range of anyone with your ultimate up and you take their head off. You are not only tanky with health from your major items, but you pack a meaner punch as any. Literally. As we talked about with HECARIM, because Trinity Force is cheaper, your leads can be transformed into Ws a lot earlier. Triforce also works great with Conqueror and a W max second, and the Mythic passive feels great. An extra 10 attack speed on every legendary item means you can stack for days, and your combos feel cleaner. After Triforce, get a Black Cleaver, and this is where you really shine. The 25 ability haste and armor shred passive is crazy. This stacks with your W passive, so squishies become as tanky as range minions, and tanks aren't tanky at all. Once you have a lead in your core items, run up to an ADC and press R, and tell me what happens. Burrowing her way to number 4, it's REKSAI. Now as REKSAI, you are the best ganker in the game, and while your 1v1 is still strong, this is the reason it is easy to get a lead and increase it. You can burrow over the top and bot lane walls to get behind your opponents, and one effective route to gank mid is via the enemy Raptors wall. The enemy champion won't realize they're being ganked until you knock them up, by which time it's already too late. In 1024, Prowler's Claws AD increased, as did the damage in its active, and this was and is still massive for REKSAI. This allows you to go Ember Knife and Red Smite, so your dueling is even stronger because you have an extra gap closer. After Prowler's, Edge of Night is a great pickup. More lethality means more one-shotting, and the passive is so helpful when you are diving the enemy carries. What's also great is that REKSAI hard counters the most popular junglers like KHAZIX and Lee Sin, so you will be able to hard carry more games. Here we go guys, the top 3, and this might be the only list we ever do in which one champion boasts 2 spots, so the bronze medalist for our jungle countdown is Blue KAYN. Now when you choose to evolve into a shadow assassin, you are arguably the best assassin in the game. You have a great clear speed, mobility, and not much counterplay, especially when you use your ultimate. Because of this, you are a nightmare in lower elos and still a real pain in higher tiers. I think most of you KAYN lovers out there are breathing a sigh of relief because Duskblaze damage, haste, invisibility, it's all still there for you to abuse in 1025. And the nerfs to KAYN himself are very insignificant. Okay, so you lose a tiny bit of damage and cooldown in your Q and your base armor is lower, but so what? Your early game may be a little more exploitable, but just ward your second buff to know if you are copying an invade to keep yourself safe. As the game progresses, you will still be able to slash your enemies to pieces. The number 2 spot on our countdown, and another jungler that can hard carry any game, is KHAZIX. Another patch, another W. The perma stealth zero counterplay tear your eyeballs out champion is back and untouched. This will come as great news to you car abusers, I mean mains. Now the reason this is good is because you Void Reavers were busted anyway, so if things stayed the same, which they have, you will remain at the top of the pile. With Duskblade Draktar, you hit harder than any other champion in League. Catch an enemy champion wandering in the darkness on their own, yeah, they're dead. Good thing about most players you come up against as well is that few care about building armor and resistances, so you will continue to decimate your enemies. If you are going to throw all self-respect out the window for LP in this preseason and season 11, and I don't blame you by the way, I might join the party, pick KAZIX but do not headbutt the enemy team. You are an assassin. Make use of your ultimate stealth and play around the edges of a fight, jumping in at the opportune moment. Too many KAZIX players I've coached think they are playing Zac and will hurl themselves into the AoE of a fight. Flank your opponents and stay hidden, KAZIX will even tell you that himself. Here we have it, the jungler that you have the best chance to hard carry games with in Season 11, the number 1 is Red KAYN. You deal damage, you have CC, you have mobility, you have sustain, you have clear speed, you give the enemy team headaches. Red KAYN has it all and has reached beyond broken levels. You know, even if each enemy champion had an anti-healing item and ignite, I don't think it would matter. the healing in your kit and from your items, well, I'm not sure if there has been a harder champion to take down, certainly in recent memory. What do you guys think? Is KAYN the most busted champ you've seen recently? Once you evolve into your Ras form with a lead, it is already that close to being over. Force fights whenever you counter dragons and rift heralds, dive the enemy bot lane until they make a post on the league Reddit about REKSAI making them quit the game. Anything you do, you just cannot go wrong. That's how broken REKSAI is, and that's why he's our #1 pick. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Before I leave you, remember GameLeap.com. If you want to stop being hard stuck and become the best player you can be, make sure to check out our site in the description and comment section. This has been KHAZIX, and until next time, peace.